say. Because at the moment, there isn't anyone really there to represent us, and that's what we need.
I went to Bolton to meet two brothers, Zulfi Bukhari, a marketing manager, and his brother Ashgar, a 35-year-old business consultant. They have set up the Muslim Public Affairs Committee UK. MPAC were holding a meeting to recruit new members. Their aim? To try to stop the anger of young Muslims turning into violence. They want Muslims to engage in the democratic process.
What happened last July? That was Muslims setting the agenda, wasn't it? But did they represent you? That's shocking, isn't it? Someone set the agenda again for 1.8 million Muslims in this country and 1 billion outside. And we had no say in it. If we don't like what's going on, guess what? We can change it. It's not going to be easy, but life ain't easy, tough, live with it. Who currently, in the UK, represent Muslims? Is it MAB, MPAC, Naseem Hamid, Amir Khan, Danny Williams? Who? Who represents us? Is it our mosque leaders? It doesn't matter. Whichever one of those examples I've picked, Muslims are not being represented.
Ashgar's organisation has made a point of targeting the traditional Muslim leadership for failing to speak up.
We say that every single Muslim institution and every single Muslim leader is negligent in tackling terrorism. Why should another 50 people have to die? Why should the Muslims have to suffer a backlash? All because those pathetic Muslim leaders have not lifted a single finger. If MPAC had its way, these mafia goons in our mosque would have an open day once a month and invite every single non-Muslim into the mosque for a meal. Not to convert them, but to say, what do you fear about Muslims? What don't you understand? Do you think we're all terrorists? Is that what you think, we're all dodgy? Ask me and let me explain it to you.
But you're also saying if your arguments fail, eventually people will have to take up arms.
We're not advocating that they do, but the proof is that they have. Look at 7/7. Look at 911.
Ashgar clearly believes that the failure of the traditional Muslim leadership to speak out on behalf of angry young Muslims could lead to some taking violent action. But this would only ever be a minority. The real danger is that as young Muslims separate themselves from Britain, their understanding for such acts will grow. I ended my journey back in Stoke and met up with Azad Yassin, a taxi driver. His life used to be the same as many other taxi drivers in this Midlands town, but today it's completely different, and the speed of that transformation captures just how quickly the Muslim community is changing. Less than 6 months ago, Azad spent most of his time with non-Muslim friends, who even gave him a new first name, a Christian name.
The nickname given to me by some of my mates, and the English mates, used to be James, because they used to think I'm that ahead in their culture, in their way of life.
If I'd met you 4 months ago, what would you be wearing? What would you look like?
Just normal English clothes, jeans, T-shirt, jacket or something. Hair would be, obviously I've got a hat on now, but the hair would have been cut, brown hair, designed, fashioned.
Beard?
No beard, no moustache, clean shaven.
But now that Azad has rediscovered Islam, he sees his old way of life as incompatible with his religion. You were turning your back on bad times.
Yeah, I mean, at home you have no peace. You argue with your wife, you don't look at your kids, you don't come in, you stay out till late at night with your friends. You're just not bothered about anything. There's no inner peace. You can never get that inner peace through alcohol, through good-looking women, through going on holiday, to owning a Mercedes-Benz.
As a taxi driver, Azad is always aware of the British way of life, and what he sees merely reinforces his views.
Whatever I see in my daily routines, especially at night time, it's bad the way women are treated, Women in this country are abused. Men just look at women as a sort of sex object, If he can see all her parts hanging out and flashing out everywhere, he's going to be more tempted to go to that woman and to perform, sexual acts upon her. And Islam teaches against all these things.
Azad's retreat into his religion is now setting him apart from his passengers. What effect it had on the people who get into your cab?
Some people just don't speak at all. I've had one or two, remarks. They might just look at me thinking, right, Bin Laden appearance, he's one of them followers, you know what I mean? But, I've not made any new non-Muslim friends. Most of my time I spend with my kids and my missus, or my mother and father, my immediate family.
You could become very isolated.
Well, I am to some extent, even now, because I don't see anybody.
Isolated and increasingly cut off from British life, Azad has gone from integration to separation, a journey that encapsulates the story of our survey. And the further he moves away from his British beginnings, the more he can understand why Muslims would bomb London. What do you think 7/7 was about?
The lads who did it were young Muslims born and bred in this country. Basically, they thought that their views, what they had in Iraq and Afghanistan, I think that some of them felt so strong about it, that they felt that strong, that they went and did what they did. They woke up one day, they thought, right, we've had enough of the protesting. I mean, how many millions of thousands gathered at London and protested against Iraq? Where were the politicians? They didn't listen to the people. The people who vote them in, they don't listen to them. So these young lads thought, we've had enough. They aren't listening to us. We've got no armour. We've got no army. There's no other way we're going to do it. This is the way forward.
More and more young British Muslims like Azad want to live apart, thereby bringing integration to a halt. Separatism breeds fear, misunderstanding, intolerance. Disagreements eventually flare into conflict. To restart the process of integration, there has to be real dialogue. And the first step is to understand what British Muslims really want.
Later this evening, you can follow the debate on Sharia TV. Young Muslims ask scholars and clerics just how they can navigate through 21st century Britain. Sharia TV at midnight on 4. A spiritual journey with children who see and hear dead people. Cutting Edge, My Child's Psychic, is next on 4. To download a podcast debate on young Muslims and to take the survey featured in this programme yourself, log on to channel4.com/dispatches.